Superdimension Neptune vs Sega Hard Girls is the best Neptunia spin-off game to date. But not only is it a spin-off, but also a crossover with the Sega Hard Girls series, and the two work perfectly together to provide a great experience. We find ourselves following the adventures of IF, a self-proclaimed adventurer looking for an ancient library said to house all the history of the world. Shortly before finding the library, IF saves an amnesiac girl who fell from the sky, known as Segami. Upon reaching the library, IF meets the librarian known as Historie, who quickly explains that time is being erased and gives IF and Segami a mission to go back in time to investigate different eras of history using IF's modified bike.
What? What the hell? Who gave you permission to modify my f***ing bike?
The writing in Superdimension is some of the best I've seen in the Neptunia series, providing not only a good story, but some fantastic moments that will have you laughing out loud. The writers have also managed to combine both the Neptunia and Sega Hard Girl series together perfectly. If you'd have told me that the Sega Hard Girl characters were written specifically for this game, I would have believed you. The fantastic voice acting only serves to elevate the writing even further. However, as with previous Neptunia games, there are several scenes that aren't voiced. One aspect of the writing that may be an issue to some is the new character, Segami. Her abrasive nature will cause some people to instantly dislike her, and she doesn't do much to win people over as the game progresses.
How long do you plan on bitching about this? Get over it.
The gameplay will be very familiar to anyone who has played the Rebirth games, but it does get several new elements added to it this time around. Each character can perform several actions per turn until an action meter turns red or you decide to end it. Allowing the meter to fill and turn red delays your next turn and could give your enemies an advantage. Understanding this is the first step to getting the upper hand and controlling the fights. Another new combat element is gems. Gems appear above you in battle and can replenish health, SP, or fill up your fever meter. The fever meter also fills up from normal attacks or certain skills. Once it reaches 100%, you get a special rainbow gem appear that allows you to enter something called Fever Time. Once you activate Fever Time, enemies will be unable to attack, your stats increase, and you can use your big XE skills. As it takes time to build up the fever meter, it's probably best for you to save your rainbow gem until you find yourself up against a boss, as the bosses in this game can be quite difficult if you go in unprepared. One returning aspect is the ability to get surprise attacks on enemies when you're in the dungeon by attacking their tokens. And should the enemies hit you first, they will get the jump on you instead. One issue I found with this was that the hitboxes in the game were slightly off, and at times I found myself being ambushed when I clearly hit the enemy from behind, but the game seemed to think that I was in front. This could lead to a devastating battle that wipes out your entire group before you even have a chance to escape. A remedy for this is to switch over to Segami as the character you control, as she has a slightly longer reach, giving you more of a chance to surprise the enemy. The dungeons themselves at first seem like a retread of the same old dungeons we've seen in various Neptunia games, but as you progress through the game you find that they will change depending on what era you're in, even to the point where the landscape will feel unfamiliar and wrong by design. On top of this is the addition of new platforming sections and collectibles throughout the dungeons that will have you looking in every corner to get a shiny crown on the menu after obtaining them all. One issue with the dungeons is the inconsistent frame rate, which will randomly drop for no apparent reason. I found this off-putting, and it did become an annoyance when I was trying to do some of the more trickier platforming sections. Luckily, there weren't many tricky ones. As the actual fighting mechanics are turn-based, any frame rate drops there didn't cause an issue. This seems to be caused by a limitation of what the game's engine can do on the PlayStation Vita, as previous Neptunia games using the same engine have had similar issues. Oh, but you can finally run in dungeons, which is something I do enjoy. Superdimension also has more customization than previous Neptunias when it comes to skills. Each character has several classes that allow you to learn skills as that class levels up, independent of your overall level. Once you've learned a skill, it remains regardless of which class you assign, allowing you to mix and match different skills from several different classes. This allows you to adjust a character to suit your specific needs at the time. One additional element of the gameplay is the repeat feature. Missions have a counter that goes down based on the amount of missions you've completed. Should the counter reach 0, the main antagonist will gain a buff when you face them. And you'll probably be facing them sooner than you expect, as once you run out of missions to complete, you'll be forced into fighting the final boss. However, should you fail to defeat that boss, you will be sent back in time and able to do any missions you were unable to complete before their timer ran out. This at first seems like a great feature, akin to Trillian's gameplay, but you soon realise that there are no penalties for resetting, and as such, it just feels like it's getting in the way of the game.
Why would you tease me for so long with needless exposition?
You will pay for making me wait!
The art style in Superdimension is very much in keeping with the Neptunia series, providing fun, colourful environments to explore. However, there is some disparity between the older dungeons and the new ones. The older dungeons have very low resolution textures, but the new ones, while not having super high res textures, do seem to have much more detail and attention given to them. Suniko once again provides some fantastic character art. Her illustrations of the Sega Hard Girls blend perfectly with the Neptunia characters, and IF gets a great makeover to fit her new status as protagonist. Segami, as the personification of Sega, is one of Suniko's greatest designs, combining both the company logo and Sonic together in a great looking character. One other nice touch is that the Dreamcast character will vary in colour based on your region. This is to match the different colour swirls used on the actual Dreamcast console, orange in North America and Japan, or the superior blue swirl for Europe. The music throughout the game can be hit and miss. While all the songs are good or better, there is an abundance of songs taken from previous Neptunia games, and it feels like a wasted opportunity when we hear some of the new songs produced for this game. One of the best examples of this is the Overworld theme for the Game Gear era.
That was really impressive, Game Gear. So cool.
As I stated at the start of this review, Superdimension is the best Neptunia spin-off game to date. Its great writing and much more tactical gameplay provide a fun and enjoyable experience. It really is a shame, then, that there are a few issues to hold it back from being as good, if not better, than Mega Dimension. Some of the technical issues should be fixed if it ever does come to PC, though. But the reuse of assets and the lack of voice acting on the scenes once again really does lower the quality of this otherwise fantastic game. All in all, I would rate this game 7 blue swirls out of 9. Screw your 1 to 10 scales.